the a video that I just watched by Amoda Maa, who's my wife and associate teacher, or she's the main teacher, and author of a couple of books, Embodied Enlightenment and Falling Open in a World Falling Apart. And go check out her YouTube channel. Amazing. She's a fantastic teacher and a remarkably clear channel for all of this, all of this that we speak to. But she just has posted a video, and a comment there is about the path of surrender and how all paths in many ways lead to the path of surrender. And it's the most difficult but the most, it's at the end of the journey in many ways. I've written something called Forgiveness and Surrender that doesn't speak to that, but actually, is in the same way, fundamental on this pathless path that we're talking about. So let me read this to you and then I'll talk about it a bit. Forgiveness and surrender. Forgiveness is not something we grant to another as a favor, nor is it a moral high ground we take. It is the unwinding of the knot inside our heart. It is the willingness to stop carrying the weight of the past, to let the wound be seen, touched, and ultimately dissolved in the light of presence. True forgiveness is not possible without surrender, because to truly forgive, something in us must die. The story of betrayal, the identification with victimhood, the hunger for retribution. This death is not a defeat, but a liberation. Surrender is the great letting go, not of responsibility or discernment, but of resistance. To surrender is to fall into the open hands of life, even if they carry the memory of pain. To forgive is to allow life to move again, free from the frozen echo of yesterday. In the deepest sense, forgiveness and surrender are one movement, a movement toward freedom. It's profound. Forgiveness doesn't come without surrender. Surrender is the releasing in many ways. There are many ways to talk about surrender, but in this particular case, we're talking about surrendering the tight grip of the hold that the past, with all of its grievances, its betrayals, its insults, its wounds, has on us. Surrender doesn't let anybody off the hook because it's not on that level. But surrender in many ways is saying, I was held captive by that which happened, and now I'm seeing if it's possible to release those chains, to release that identity, to release the shackles, and to step out of prison by saying, I am no longer defined by that. There's a power in that. It's like reclaiming the power that was taken from us. It's powerful. It's powerful. And it's not like this, even though I'm doing this. It's not like this. It's reclaiming the power for ourselves. It's an active form of surrender. So it's not just saying, oh, I'm, at the behest of all of that, and I haven't got any power. And it's not. It's true surrender. And in that surrender, we fall into this deeper forgiveness. The forgiveness of ourselves, the forgiveness of it all, the forgiveness that everything that happened in ignorance. Even the maliciousness, even the hurt, even the pain that was inflicted, It's all born of ignorance. And that's not a moral high ground, it's just a reality. And it's the forgiveness and the surrender is actually the greatest empowerment that we have, because it's saying, I release all of this back to where it came from. And I'm not defined by this any longer. This freedom. This is a freedom. Because the danger is that we're shackled, endlessly shackled by the past. And as long as we're shackled by the past and we hold the grudges and we hold the grievances and we hold it like tightly to us in a kind of way that is like right here, we're defined by it. And there's no way of getting to any forgiveness. So forgiveness comes kind of second, although surrender and forgiveness are part and parcel of the same thing. It's like, can we surrender the past? You know, it's not easy because it lives inside us and has defined us for so long. But there's great power in this. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying that, you know, to allow ourselves to court the possibility that surrender and forgiveness are doorways to the liberation into the now, into this deeper equanimity. It doesn't happen in one fell swoop. It happens because we court it again and again and again, and we long to know ourselves beyond the prison of the past, beyond the definition that we've carried around for years and years and years. Great freedom. But that freedom comes at the cost of letting it go. You see people, I know people in my family, and, you know, who are just taking, you know, the unforgiveness and taking the lack of surrender, the fighting, the arguing, that it shouldn't have happened, the rights and the wrongs and the pain of the past, even if it was 50 years ago, and it's still being carried around, and it's shaped the entirety of their lives. This is the nature of the journey of a kind of liberation from one's personal suffering. The liberation from one's personal suffering at some point necessarily involves surrender. Many ways to talk about surrender, but this is a good one. To surrender the identity that's wrapped up in the shackles of the past. To allow it. It was. It happened. Things happened. But they're not happening now. They're not here now. They're not in this present moment. And in that sense, I can surrender them. And in surrendering them, some aspect of me that is even deeper than that forgives the whole thing. Forgives the whole thing.